So, hi Plabata, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here today and representing Swansea University. So, in this video, we're going to talk about Plabata's background, then what it's like to study at the University of Swansea, her timetable, course, and more. And if you want like a general idea of what the questions I'm going to be asking, I've added them in the description box below. And I have conducted many interviews with students of different universities, so make sure you check that out as well. So let us begin. So hi Plabata, welcome to my channel.
Hi, Devyani. It's really nice to chat with you.
So let us begin. Can you just formally introduce yourself, please?
Okay, so as Devyani said, I'm Plabata Guha and I'm pursuing my bachelor's in computer science at Swansea University. So I just started my course in September 2023 and my second semester is just going on right now.
So you have just moved to the UK, and how are you finding it so far?
Well, it's just been like 3, 4 months. It's really good here so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, adjusting to a new place takes time. So yeah, it's been okay.
So tell me a bit about your background. Like, where are you from? Where did you do your 12th standard from? And just what, like, commerce, science, or how does that work?
All right, so I did my high schooling from Kolkata in West Bengal.
Mm-hmm.
That's where from I belong.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I moved to Kota for preparing for IIT and stuff like that. But then while preparing for that, I was more interested in moving abroad. So I just planned for that. And in November and December 2022, just thought of moving abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just chose a September intake. That was the closest one and started
Mm-hmm.
preparing for it. I took the help of one of the consultancies, which is Leverage Edu, and
Mm-hmm.
then they helped with all my applications and everything. And then, yeah, with
Mm-hmm.
time, everything just
So
happened.
tell me about your journey. Like, why did you want to study in the UK? Like, mostly majority of the Indians usually study back home. That's for masters they come here. So it's a big decision and also a big investment in terms of financially. So what was your reason to come here? And yeah.
So, firstly, I chose UK because it was like 3 years
Mhm.
compared to any other country. It'd be like 4 years.
Definitely.
So that reduces your finances a bit. And also because if you graduate early, you could get a job early and then you can
Mm-hmm.
settle down quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the reasons. And secondly, I love the UK culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just worth exploring everything. And also in terms of finances, UK is not as expensive as US or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the European culture, so I just thought of giving it a shot.
So while applying, you had considered US universities as well, or it was just UK for you?
It was just UK for me.
Okay, that's interesting. So like to get into like a bachelor's degree course, like what are the prerequisites? Like like do you need whatever X amount of marks in 10, whatever 10, 12, like what all is considered before you apply?
So you need your academic transcripts for your 10th and 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, you can also submit your 11th grade and you can check the university website what it requires you to apply.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, other than that, I submitted my extracurriculars. And yeah, everything that I had, I almost submitted everything,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the university need. It was just that uh, my career counselor just asked me to send everything, and I do not know how they just aligned it the way university asks, and they just did all of the sorting out things.
Makes sense, makes sense. So do you know anything about UCAS applications?
I heard about UCAS, but my application was directly to Swansea University and not through UCAS.
Okay.
I think in UCAS you can apply to 5 universities for like £15 or something. I might be wrong here,
Okay.
so you can just check the website. But you can apply to a bunch of universities by applying a certain amount of fees.
Mm-hmm.
And also there are other universities which you can apply directly to, like Swansea University, and I think there are other universities as well, like University of Essex, Strathclyde, and most of the universities they were like tied up with my consultancy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so apply directly.
So to be honest, like for master's degree, there is no concept as UCAS. So can you just tell me the difference of what is the benefit of applying via UCAS and what is like why did you choose not to apply via them?
Okay, so firstly, as I told you, my consultancy has been doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they are tied up with these institutions, they are partnered up with this. So they could just apply here for free, and I did not need to pay any amount of money to them, not to the university. But if
Mm-hmm.
you do it in UCAS, you need to pay a certain amount of money. I think it's around 10, 15 pounds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And once you pay that, you can apply to a list of like 5 or 6 universities.
So,
Yeah.
are there really any benefits of applying with UCAS or nothing that you can see of?
No, there's no benefit. Like if you're applying directly or if you're applying through UCAS, it's the same
There
thing.
is no
Requirements are
difference.
same, everything.
Okay, so before you applied to Swansea, like what was the reason you chose Wales over maybe Scotland or England? Like what made you choose this university itself?
So I did not have any country preference like Wales or Scotland or England.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
just looking for all the universities overall. And Swansea University is really good in computer science. Like it's ranked really high, like among the top 20 universities in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons. And the other universities apart from Swansea University, which are maybe even ranked higher, they're
Mm-hmm.
all like from the Russell's group and they are really expensive for an undergraduate degree. So
Mm-hmm.
I just did not want to go for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Swansea was equal
Right.
in case of computer science. So I just went for Swansea and the city was really good. And, so yeah.
So other than Swansea, which were the other universities you had considered before you finalized this one?
I applied to University of Essex, Strathclyde, Anglia Ruskin, and yeah, and Swansea University.
And Swansea. So this was your best choice. Makes sense. So can you tell me a bit more about your course? Like of course it's spread over 3 years, but how many semesters do you have and how many subjects in each semester and things like that?
Okay, so we have like in total, I have like 6 semesters if you count. Every
Mm-hmm.
year has 2 semesters, and so far we just having like 4 modules in every semester. Now it may vary from course to course. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know in physics you have like 3 modules per semester, and in civil engineering there are like 6 modules in every semester. So
Mm-hmm.
it just highly varies depending on the course that you're choosing.
Okay, interesting. And like how about lectures? Do you have classes every day or just a few days a week?
Yeah, we have classes every day in a week, all
Mm-hmm.
the 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
But since we just started our second semester, fortunately, we have one day off. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just 4 days a week now.
Right.
And,
And how long is
you
your
have
day? Like, how long is one lecture? Like, do you have multiple lectures a day or just one for per subject?
we have multiple lectures in a day, but they last for like 1 hour to 2 hours maximum, not more than that. And maybe a day is comprised of like 3 to 4 hours of lectures, and that's the maximum, not more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And it also includes labs and seminars and everything else.
And everything else. So, like, what time does your day start? Like, usually universities at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., or do you have like lectures at different times of the day every
We
day?
have lectures at different times of the day, but on some of the days it starts at 9 a.m. and some of the days it's like just one lab maybe or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So maybe it's like 12 p.m. or 1 p.m., something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but most of the days, the earliest we have is like 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. And can you just explain what does teaching look like in one of your modules? Like, is it more online, offline? Like, do they show presentations or like how is it? How is the interaction part of it?
Yeah, it's quite interactive though. We have in person. We do not have any online classes, but you
Mm-hmm.
can always access them, like the recordings of the lectures. You can always access them through your account here in Swansea University.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, in-person attendance is really important because you're marked on that. Like
Mm-hmm.
not as in not marks, but
Like the
for international
mandatory,
students, it's really important to have like a proper attendance.
right?
So yeah, and you have presentations, and they're being presented on big screens so that
Right.
everyone can see.
So,
And
you have studied in India until you're 12. So, how does teaching in India look like? Like mostly there are presentations that, or maybe like just a blackboard and the teacher comes in and they explain the concept and then students makes notes, like how is it different here than what you saw in India?
I think in India and in UK, the major difference is that in India, we just learn everything in a lot of detail. We
Mm-hmm.
go like into a depth of everything, but it's not like it's very theoretical. It's not application based.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of knowledge, but we do not know how to apply them.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the UK, it's like everything is very practical based.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a professor was asking us questions about what kind of data can we input in integers and all of that. And some people said, okay, natural numbers and all of that. And then he said, no, like real data, like age or prices or something. So it's just a small example, but
Mm-hmm.
that is the difference. So yeah, it's quite practical based. It does not go into very deep depth or like a lot of details and something. But yeah, if you want, you can always do your own research and your own studies. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, in general, it's your choice. There's no compulsion that you have to
Right.
do something.
That's actually very surprising for me because, especially because I come from King's College London, which is a very research-based university. So I thought here it was much more theoretical for me. So do you have like a lot of research papers you have to read, or like 50 years ago some like person had said this? Like, is that relevant for you, or your course is like much more practical than that, or that's also a part of your curriculum?
Yeah, we have theoretical things as part of our curriculum
Mm-hmm.
because it's computer science and you need like some part of math, and math is generally theoretical. So
Mm-hmm.
you have those parts. You also have quite a number of things that are theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the main module, which is coding for me, it's like totally practical thing.
Totally practical.
So
Right.
yeah, that the main modules, they are all practical based, and we also have things like related to professional issues in computing, where you talk about cyber crimes or how the law is affecting internet and everything. So that's again a very practical based module.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other modules are a bit of computer science theory
Mm-hmm.
and math. So it's just a mixture of everything, but everything has kind of practical related.
So, just to continue now, so tell me more about your projects. So, when you said like computer science, did you have to make like, I don't know, in the first year, like, do you make applications, or like, how is the practicality of it in terms of projects?
Okay, so in the first semester, we had to like build a game, not like a real game, but it's
Oh.
just that in a terminal window, you just run the program and you get the results, and you can
Mm-hmm.
just, it's like kind of interactive mode with the user. So yeah, that was an interesting game. You just had like three hips, and you had to choose a number of coins, and there's a limit, like you have to apply a lot of while loop conditions and if else statements and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
the game was quite fun. So
Mm-hmm.
the game is like, if the user who is playing with you, it's like two people can play, or maybe you can play with the computer as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, whoever chooses the last coin from all the hips combined wins the game.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, it was quite
interesting.
a yeah, it was quite an interesting game that we had to build. And then and the other coursework was like determining the satellites of a particular planet with objects and classes. So yeah, we learned a bit about object oriented programming and all of that. It's just the beginning,
Right, of
so
course.
it's not like a lot.
So, which main programming languages do they teach you here?
It's Java.
It's Java mainly. Okay, interesting. So can you tell me, like, when they grade your assignments, like, is it more about a technical knowledge, or is creativity also important? Or is it more like, okay, theories play most importance? Like, what would you say is the grading based here?
So it's like a bit varied depending on your modules. Like
Mm-hmm.
the one for coding, if you get everything right, you have different levels that you need to cover. If you're covering all the levels, you get a certain point. And then it comes to how precise you were, how well you applied the concepts, and did you write comments everywhere or not, and how well you represented it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have marking based on that. That's for one module. And for the other ones, we have quizzes. For all the modules, we just have academic
Mm-hmm.
report
Mm-hmm.
for one of the modules.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, you need to write, like do some research and write a report based on topic that you chose.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's again graded based on your creativity, and also how well you're highlighting the points and how well you're talking about like whatever you want to talk about, like how well you're arguing with both the positive and negative sides of it. So yeah, it's about your representation and also about the technical knowledge, both combined depending on
Mm-hmm.
the module. And
Right. Okay, thank you. So the next question is like, is it hard to study? Like, how many hours a day do you like really put into your coursework?
okay, so how many hours do I study? There's no definite hours. It just varies a lot. Some days I
Mhm.
study more, some days I study less. But
Mhm.
I think on an average, 2, 3 hours a day would be like fine.
Ideal.
If you can,
Okay.
yeah.
And how's your class strength? Like, how many students in your class?
It's a lot. Like I think it's more than 300 students
Mm-hmm.
that we have in computer science. It's like heavily loaded program here. A lot of students apply.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
So,
a quite big
are
class.
your lectures like all 300 together, or are you like separated into different like um
Lectures are
classes?
always together,
Mhm.
but the labs are separated into groups.
Okay, that's interesting. So for 300 people, like for one, faculty, like do you get individual attention or like is it more self-learning based curriculum?
Um, well, I think during your lectures, there's not really, you do not have a high scope of interacting with professors,
Mm-hmm.
but you can always get back to them through discussion forums or maybe like, you have Discord chats and they are very, very responsive there. You
Mm-hmm.
can ask them anything and they're always there to help you out. You have your personal mentors and there are loads of people to help you out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you get personal attention, but not during the lectures. And you also have labs. You can discuss all your issues there. You have a lot of teaching assistants. You can discuss your problems with them. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
loads of people to help you out, but not lectures.
Perfect. And how about how many Indians are there in your course? Like, do a lot of Indians come or like how is it like?
A lot.
Oh,
Computer
really?
science is like, yeah, a lot of Indians are there in computer science. Because,
Oh,
mostly in your 12th grade, you're preparing for JE or whatever, and you have this obsession over computer science that, the top rankers get computer science. So even if I go abroad, I'll take computer science. So that's the kind of
yeah.
thing
Wow.
that remains in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are loads of Indians there.
And how about the male-female ratio at university?
That's not really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there are there are like very less girls in computer science,
Mm-hmm.
but again, not very less, but maybe you can say like 10% of the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
class
That's
would be female, and rest
still
all are
quite less.
just.
So, before you came to the UK, did you have like any experience about coding at all, or is like do they start from absolute scratch, or like do they expect you to know some things before you come?
I had a little bit of experience, but they do not expect you to know anything. To just start teaching from the very scratch,
Mm-hmm.
and you have everything to read about. They have book recommendations as well. If you get time, you can obviously go through them.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, the slides and everything, they are more than enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I did have some experience in coding, so it just made things easier for me.
Quite easier for you. So, if somebody wants to come to the UK to study, for example, computer science, like what would be that advice you would say that probably touch upon these points which would make your life easier when you come to the UK?
You can just take up any course like from Coursera or Udemy, or maybe in edX also you have like free courses. So you
Mm-hmm.
can just go for them, and it doesn't matter if it's that Java or Python or whatever. If you
Mm-hmm.
have a preliminary knowledge of the if else statements and while loops, for loops, and everything. It's almost the same thing, just the syntax changes from one language to another. So if
Mm-hmm.
you can learn a bit about that, then when you come here, it's easier for you to grasp the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you need to work harder. So either you do it first or you come and do it here.
Yeah, makes
It's
sense.
not doesn't make a lot of difference, but yeah, it's definitely adds to your benefit.
Mm-hmm. And the next question is like, what is your favorite thing about your university? Like, if you had to name one thing that, okay, this sets us apart.
Um, Okay, so we have like the Bay campus. There are two campuses of Swansea University. One is in Bay, and another one is in Singleton. So in Bay campus, you have like a very big beach. It's more like a private beach. So you do not
Oh.
have a lot of people going there. So if you love beaches, you can always come here.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the area really soothing and all of that, but it's also windy. So yeah, I love the beach here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe during
What
summer
would
you can
be?
go for barbecues and stuff.
No, that's nice. Oh, very nice. Wow. In London, you definitely don't get such a luxury. So what is one thing you don't quite like, or maybe could have been better about in your experience so far at Swansea?
There's nothing that I wish better because it depends from person to person. What kind of person you are, what you like. I think Swansea is like a perfect balance of the city life and the environment that you need for your studies. If you are going to a city like London, I would like literally feel lost because there are so many things to do and I do not know which one to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I think Swansea is really good because
Mm-hmm.
you have clubs, you have a good nightlife, but the environment is also really suitable for studying
Mm-hmm.
because there's not like you do not have a lot of hustle and bustle here.
Right, makes
So
sense.
it's quite peaceful. Yeah, it's good for your studies. So
And are you part of any clubs and societies there? Have you?
yeah, so far I have joined the robotics club and but I'm also a cultural person. I'm still looking for societies to join because I
With
need
the
to travel from Bay Campus to Singleton, which is like 30 minutes to 1 hour journey. It depends.
mhm.
So it's just that it takes a lot of time. So I just thought of waiting for some more time and then joining any other cultural societies. So far it's just one society,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
robotics.
Makes sense. And then how does the university help you in your terms of your career? Like from early on, do they help you with your CVs or like do they help you with part-time jobs? Like, can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, they are always there to help you out with your part-time jobs or with your, we have like either it's like the people who opt for a 4 year course, they have a year in industry in
Mm-hmm.
between.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're opting for that, the university helps you out in that as well. There's like an employability team who is taking care of all these things, your CV, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, and even in computer science, one of the courses teach us to build our LinkedIn profiles.
Oh.
So and that's an incredible thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can always take help from the university. The employability team is always there to help you out with all the jobs.
So for international students, like, are you doing a part-time job already, or do you plan to do so, or where do you plan to
Uh,
do if you are?
Currently, I'm not doing any part-time job, but I plan to do one soon.
Mm-hmm.
I would be working as a teaching assistant,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that I'm waiting for my DBS to get cleared, and then maybe I can
Mm-hmm.
start my job.
So what was the reason you did not choose a 4-year course? Like having an industry placement is definitely more helpful. So what made you choose a 3-year one?
Okay, so it again varies from person to person. It's very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I did not choose it because once you complete your 3 year degree, firstly, you are graduating, and you always have your graduate jobs are always better than your year
Yes.
in industry jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think that if they get like a year in industry, they have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And many times the companies just ask them to graduate and come back to their company. So
Mm-hmm.
that's some people think it in that way. But I think, but still, you need to pay to the university when you are doing your year in industry. It would be around £4,000 for me if had I chosen that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's of no use.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you pay when that's £4,000? It's like
Mm-hmm.
20% of your tuition fee. So once you graduate, you obviously have a better job than your industry job, and it's just 1 year early and just 1 year after you graduate.
Yeah.
So it
Thanks.
definitely doesn't make any sense for me to spend more money and
Mhm.
graduate later.
Okay, interesting. So in general, like how is your social life at Swansea? Like, because again, compared to maybe London, it's like a smaller city, but you said there's the beach. But how are the people around you? Like, is the campus life good? Can you share a bit about that?
Campus life is really good. You have like kind of a club here in campus. You also have a canteen and everything, so you can always chill around. And obviously, the beach also adds to your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And you just from here, if you travel like 15 minutes, is the city center, and you have loads of clubs and activities to do. You can play around. You have arcade. You can just go to arcades or whatever, and there are like lots of things to do. If you want to do something, everything is here, but definitely not as busy or the things as in London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can definitely do it. It's like a complete balance. You will not get lost in the city or something like that. It's quite a small area, so it's
That's
really good.
nice. So let's talk a bit about your finances. So in general, like how expensive is it to stay in your city? Like what do you think is like the average ballpark figure for how much you spend in a month, for example?
Right. So as I stay on campus, it's a bit more expensive than staying off campus. Mine is like £135 a week because I stay in a twin sharing room.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stay in Enswitz here in Bay Campus, it's £177 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And Bay Campus is a bit more expensive than Singleton. In Singleton, you have rooms like the ensuite rooms are for like £155 a week or 150, something like that. So it comes around 540, 550 a month for me,
Mm-hmm.
just the rent. And apart from that, you have your food and your, if you're partying somewhere, those expenses, if you're buying something. So you can just take like roughly extra £100 every month, but it just totally depends on you, what you eat and how you lead your life, how many times you're going out in a week. So it depends totally on you.
Do they have any caterers in your accommodation who provide food, or is it on you to cook and things like that?
Oh, just your own cooking. There's no caterers here, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting. And twin sharing, like, do they assign a roommate for you, or do you have like a choice to choose who you would like to
Well,
stay
if
with?
you have a choice to stay with someone, you can always set this to a number and say that, okay, I and this person would like to share a room together, and you will get a room like that. But I did not have anyone to stay with, so it was just a random allocation. But fortunately, my roommate is really good, so we get along really well.
That's really nice. So after you graduate, like, would you still like to continue living in Swansea, or do you plan to like move out? And what are your plans after?
Well, it's just the first year. I haven't thought about it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully I'll move out of Swansea because there are quite a number of jobs here, but I would definitely opt for better jobs in other cities.
Mm-hmm.
If I stay in the UK, and if I think of moving to other countries, which I really want to, I want to explore all sorts of cultures and everything, and I might move to the US because it has way more opportunities in computer science and IT related things.
Mm-hmm.
So probably I would consider moving to the US or Germany or some other countries
Mm-hmm.
which have opportunities, or maybe stay in the UK depending on what my circumstances would be.
Right. So, just like to conclude everything, but you, as you mentioned before, like, you always wanted to know, live in the UK, understand the European culture. So after coming here, do your expectations really meet your reality?
Um, well, I think so because people are really well behaved here.
Mm-hmm.
So I expected that, and it's also a reality.
Mm-hmm.
But some people always will be there who are
Yeah, that's
different
everywhere.
than what you
Mm-hmm.
expect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. And other than that, I think I really love the culture here, and it's quite similar to what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, if you're imagining a movie life, that's not how it is
Mm-hmm.
here. And you need to get out of your delusion if you are living in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but definitely, it's quite of a match. It depends on what kind of ideas you have regarding a particular culture. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was quite similar.
Okay. And if like the very last question is, if somebody wants to come to the UK and do your course and everything, like what would be the best advice you would give them, which you would have liked to hear when you were applying, like just or overall conclusion?
If it's postgraduate or undergraduate, learn to cook because that's the most important thing that I felt here. And every day I've been telling my mom that I feel like I'm cooking and cleaning every day. And studies is just like a secondary thing for me. First is like, okay, go shopping and cook and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So try to manage yourself, try to manage your time really, really well. And as much as you can, just give a trial at home the way you would be living here. And that would be really, really helpful if you do
Mm-hmm.
that.
And in terms of like being, because you're so young and away from family, like how do you cope up with like that aspect of like just being kind of lonely? Not lonely, that might not be the right word, but just like on your own so early on.
Totally on my own. Yeah, it's kind of just you need to be you're growing up, and I'm more than 18, so of course I need to learn to stay by myself. And you have to learn cooking at some point in your life. You need to learn to stay by your own at some point. So why not now? That was
Mm-hmm.
my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not feel homesick because I have stayed away from home quite a number of times. So it's just that I'm quite well adjusted here. I'm getting to know new people. So that just compensates anything that I feel like, okay, I'm missing out something at home,
Mm-hmm.
but that's always something that you can compensate for.
Well, this is perfect, but thank you so much, Plabata. You have answered all the questions very much in detail. I think anybody who is watching this video, I'm sure like all of their doubts and questions are cleared. So just to like ask you, if somebody wants to know more about studying at Swansea and things like that, would you mind sharing your like LinkedIn or something like that people can message?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll just share my LinkedIn link
Yeah,
with
I'll add
you,
that
and
in
you
the
can just
description box below.
yeah,
I think that's it
sure.
for now. Thank you so much. And hope you have an amazing next 2 years here in the UK and get a great job as a software engineer.
Okay. As an overall advice, I would also like to say something.
Mm-hmm.
If you're moving abroad, always try to make proper friends. Always choose your friends wisely, and do not forget to network with the right people. And always try to make genuine friends, because the friends that you make in uni are not necessarily the friends of your life. So just choose your friends wisely. Know who you're hanging out with, and there might be lots of pros and cons,
Mm-hmm.
but be like keep your eyes and ears open about whatever you're doing, and distinguish between your high bye friends and your true friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
That's
really
great
big part
advice.
of it. Network with the right people, and
Mm-hmm.
that really opens a lot of opportunities. And do grow your LinkedIn profile, because that helps you connect with a lot of recruiters, or maybe when you're applying for jobs you need to show your LinkedIn profile. So do focus on that as well.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. Anyway, thank you so much, Plabata. And I'm going to call the
Thank you
right
so much.
end the call right here. But thank you.